Welcome back. In our last module, we looked at the main features of sole traders, businesses that are run by a single person. In this module, we make an introduction to an alternative form of business, which we call partnerships. So let's dive right in. This type of business is formed by two or more business owners. They're particularly popular with professional fields and related qualifications, such as doctors, lawyers, accountants, or even consultancy firms. For example, with a lot of law firms, you will typically hear the name Something and Partners. For example, O'Neill and Partners or Smith Partners. And these are all partnership businesses where two or more people own the firm. The main features of a partnership include the following. Firstly, decisions. Unlike sole traders, who is the only person in the business that makes the decision, in partnerships, decisions are made jointly between all the people who own and run the business together, or the partners. Like sole traders, partners may employ other people, but the partners themselves make all the management decisions. Partners also own the business. Each partner owns particular percentages of the business. For example, a business with two partners might be split 50-50. Or one partner could own 60% of the business, while the other partner could own only 40% of the business, because the partner that owns more is providing more to the business, whether customers or sales or anything that adds value. On that note, the business is owned and managed by more than one person. Although the number of partners is technically unlimited, given that it's especially difficult to make joint decisions, especially as the number of partners grow, most partnerships will only have between 2 to 20 people. Even then, a partnership with 20 people will rarely reach a consensus or a common agreement because all it takes is a single person to disagree to delay the whole decision-making process. Now, similar to sole traders, there is no legal distinction between a business and its partners. In other words, all partners are liable for all the partnership business's debts and other obligations. Now, this is one of the major drawbacks of having a partnership. Partners have unlimited liability, which means one partner can be legally called upon to pay for 100% of another partner's debt, even if that partner owns only a very, very small percentage of the business. So you want to consider things very, very carefully before you enter a partnership. On the other hand, compared to a sole trader, finance or access to money or funds is usually more available for a partnership. All partners will usually contribute some capital or money to start up the business or to buy into the business, meaning becoming a partner by contributing a certain amount of money in the business, which usually means you have more money than is provided by only one person in a partnership. And so that's one of the advantages of over a sole trader. Because of this, banks and financial institutions or lenders are usually more willing to provide finance to partnerships compared to sole traders, because a partnership is considered to be far more stable than a sole trader. If one partner is unable to pay off their loans, the bank can simply ask or force another partner to pay back their debts. A very special feature of some partnerships is that some partners may be what we call sleeping partners, which means that they invest in the business by providing some finance and they expect a share of the business's profits. In other words, they provide money. But a sleeping partner actually performs no other role in the business. They are just a key finance provider and a part owner. Another key reason for partnerships is that businesses operating as partnerships will often provide a far more varied service selection than a sole trader. Often different partners bring different expertise to the table, and so the product or service that a business is offering to its consumers will be broader. And this is typically true in the case of partnerships between professionals such as lawyers or doctors. For example, looking at my own field here, a partnership could be formed to form a clinic that combines the expertise of a general practitioner, a dentist, a speech pathologist, a gynecologist, a sexual health therapist, a psychologist, and so on. It provides a very varied service. Similarly, for law firms, you could form a partnership between lawyers that specialize in criminal law, some that specialize in commercial law, international law, or civil law, and so the expertise provided is also quite varied. I mentioned before that partnerships have a far greater degree of accountability than a sole trader. They are accountable or responsible for decisions that their partners have made. Although in most countries, partnerships are not required to draw up a legal deed for a partnership, most partnerships still do it for safety purposes. Having a legal deed of partnership makes business sense because it provides a legally binding document that sets out the rights and responsibilities of each partner, providing information about responsibilities, financing, the division of profits, liabilities, and the procedures for changing circumstances. By having a legally binding document or a deed of partnership, every partner knows their rights and responsibilities, and the likelihood of a major disagreement occurring between partners decreases because everyone is clear on what they have to do. On the issue of continuity, we said that sole traders typically end once the sole trader retires or dies. For partnerships, there is much greater continuity, and this is more stable because the responsibility of looking after the business is split between many partners. Drawing up a deed of partnership will help the organization in the long term by providing a framework for what happens if some unexpected adverse event or change in circumstances were to occur to one or more partners or the business itself. Finally, there's a misconception that all the partners share the profit. This is not true. Usually, profits are paid according to each partner's percentage ownership of the business. If one partner has provided far more finance than the others, then you would expect that partner to receive a far greater proportion of the profits. So to summarize, partnerships have a lot of advantages compared to sole traders, and these include different partners bringing in different skills and qualities to the business, and so partnerships often have a more varied and efficient process of producing or providing the product or service through specialization and division of labor. In general, partners bring more expertise to a business than a single person is physically able to. Partnerships also have access to more finance because they are perceived as being more stable and at a lower risk of financial banks and institutions losing out money in the case that the partnership fails. Flexibility. Partnerships or partners can help in emergency situations when other partners are sick or on holiday. Finally, partnerships have a higher chance of continuity because the business will continue to survive. Usually when one partner dies, it doesn't necessarily end there. It will always continue on. So as with every coin, there's two sides. And partnerships, they have a lot of advantages, but also significant disadvantages. On that note, choosing the business type that works for you always comes with weighing up all the drawbacks or advantages of choosing that particular business type. So just something to keep in mind. Now, the biggest and most scary issue for partnerships is that of unlimited liability, which means that each partner is legally responsible for all the business's debts or actions of other business partners. That is why businesses like to draw up deeds of partnerships. It provides an exception to this liability when in the deed of partnership, a partner or some partners are declared as limited partners, meaning these partners have limited liability, but also limited control over the business. The laws for this vary country to country, but are common in a lot of deeds. When we scale it upwards and compare partnerships to companies, we realize that partnerships usually have far less access to bank loans than other financial institutions. When we scale it up and compare partnerships to companies, we realize that partnerships usually have far less access to bank loans compared to other business organization types. What this means is a similar issue to sole traders. Limited finance usually prevents a business from expanding or maximizing opportunities for making a profit. Then there's the issue of relying on others. An individual partner can't have complete control over the business, and so they have to rely on the work and goodwill of all the other partners. Compared to a sole trader, profits have to be shared among the partners, and in the worst case scenarios, partners may disagree, which results in the breakup of the partnership. So in summary, partnerships are like the safe middle child between sole traders and more complex organizations such as companies. They can typically raise more finance than sole traders, And because of greater stability, partnerships have a higher chance of surviving changing market conditions, and a better chance of expanding when the conditions are right. But they are limited by the comparative lack of finance and scale of operation compared to larger organizations such as companies or corporations. That concludes our modules on partnerships. In our next module, we'll be looking at a larger organization type called companies. See you then.